children doing sex change surgeries, which I think should have never, ever been legalized, ever. If a child can't consent to get a tattoo, a child shouldn't be able to consent to cut their dick off. Gentlemen and female gentlemen, the transgender movement is 110% cooked. We have reached potentially a crazy level of cooked no one has seen before. Now, in case you are not up to date, Donald Trump, orange man, so orange, so big, won all 7 swing states. He's the president of the United States. Literally his first day in office, he was like, dog, 2 genders. Second day, dog, no more trans people in female sports. And it's been a very bad couple of months for the entire goddamn movement. So Brett Cooper made a video talking about the growing regret among trans teens. I think specifically talking about a lot of the insanity that comes with children doing sex change surgeries, which I think should have never, ever been legalized, ever. If a child can't consent to get a tattoo, a child shouldn't be able to consent to cut their dick off.
And here we are. This is what everyone thinks about the trans movement. It says everything when they call it a movement. It's not a community. It's not a medical space. It's not a disorder. It's not something that people need to use to move forward and be healthy. That's not how they're seeing this. So, hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I do appreciate it. I found this great video about, basically the downfall of the transgender movement. And this guy person, it's kind of an interesting channel, is going to really tell you and me what we all know and why the movement is taking a big dump. Because they are disingenuous. It's all built on a false foundation. It's completely embarrassing what he just said. Letting children have sex changes. I mean, come on. Told you, when you put kids into the mix, you're totally screwed. So here we go. So with that, thanks again for joining me. Thanks for liking, subscribing, hitting the bell, getting notifications, all the things that you do to really help this channel grow. I totally appreciate it. Really, it does. It means a lot to me. So let's finish watching a little bit more of this.
Actually insane shit. Like, holy fuck, unhinged, abusive levels of insane shit. But anyway, that's just my random cancelable take of the day. I would like to tell you something that I think is very, very prudent and important. The number one reason why the transgender movement is fucking getting cooked right now is because of transgender activists. They are some of the most insufferable people on the planet. Not like the random transgender fellow that just wants to, live their best life and do whatever they want with their life and whatever and doesn't bother anybody. Literally no one cares about those people. I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in a good way. Because the less people that care about me, the better my life is.
Awesome. Brilliant. This guy is saying it all. It's the trans activists. They even know it. They know people like us exist, like me, transsexuals, Blair, Tori, all of us, right? Marcus. I mean, come on. This is so great because they're saying everything that we actual transsexuals have been saying. Those people don't represent us and they are disgusting and gross. And why this whole trans movement is going down. It is going down hard and right out the gate. Trump just ripped it right out. Oh, transphobia, we're under attack. We didn't need our passports before, but now that Trump signed this, we got to run and get our passports. Like, what? Why would you go get your passport when you're basically going to get the passport that you don't want? That's how you can tell the whole thing is just so dumb and idiotic and built with a lot of immaturity, a lot of sneakiness, bad adults, bringing children into it, putting trans women in sports. Okay, well, here, let me just not get ahead of myself here because this person is really saying it all.
I mean, with love in my heart, I don't care about you at all. That's wonderful. But the fucking activist people, the ones that go out there, walking around the streets with their balls hanging out in front of children, dog, miss me with that bullshit. Going in prisons when you have, male to female trans people in female prisons and then all of their prison roommates end up pregnant somehow. Like, come on, dude. What the fuck is happening?
Totally.
So anyway, now that the movement is completely cooked because of some of the most insufferable, illogical people on the planet, I guess we have to have a good time laughing at their downfall. We laugh at all downfalls on this channel. Equal equality downfall, all right?
Even I'm going to laugh at their downfall because they don't represent. Those are trans activists. It is a movement. It is not a space for people who actually get diagnosed gender dysphoria, are adults, can make this choice, move forward, participate in the world like we always have. So this is just, I just love this video so much because it's just, I don't even have to say it. They're saying it all, everything I know, and the reason why the acceptance has gone down for transgender people and why we need to separate transsexuals from transgenders. It's so genius. The guy is just saying, like, okay, women, trans women in prison, and all of a sudden people are getting pregnant in women's prison. Like, duh, men and women should not be in that space together. You are going to make babies. I mean, it's just, oh my God, it's so embarrassing. It's just embarrassing.
All downfalls are treated equally. This isn't being transphobic. Okay, maybe it is, but the point that I'm trying to make is I would laugh at anyone's downfall, okay?
So last week, I basically did my longest ever video in the history of Brett Cooper videos and did a recap on Trump's first month in office, and a huge portion of that video was talking about his executive orders. I think he has signed more executive orders in this first month than any president in history, and as you guys saw, I am a huge fan of basically all of them. But within the
his executive orders have been, he's been cooking. He's been cooking.
This slew of executive orders with wide-ranging topics, there were 4 that addressed transgenderism, and I want to talk about those specifically today. Well, not just them in general, but about one issue in particular. And those executive orders, he did one that established that the United States only has 2 genders, which, it's a shock that even has to be established. He's also doing what he can to ban men from competing in women's sports. He is now...
Okay, that I think is my favorite example of, you're retarded if you don't agree. That is my favorite example of you are literally proving.
See, everything we've been saying. The first 2 ones right out the gate. 2 sexes and no men can compete in women's sports. I mean, really, people, how is this even anti-trans? The trans movement isn't about trans. It's not about trans at all. It's a misogynistic movement.
To the world that you were a retard if you don't agree. So there are definitely shades of gray with a lot of discussions, all right? And I could generally see both sides, even when I am more inclined to believe in one. Like, when someone is gonna tell me, like, I believe in socialism instead of capitalism or whatever, I'll be like, you know what? I hear where you're coming from, but socialism doesn't work. That would be my response, right? But I at least hear where you're coming from. I'm gonna piss off so many people in my fucking audience. That's just my opinion, okay? But trans women in female sports, like, you are literally biologically designed to beat the fuck out of them. How is that appropriate in any possible way? And honestly, I think even most leftists agree with this.
Yes.
I think most trans people even agree with this.
Totally.
I just think it's the vocal minority screaming retards on Twitter cesspits farming likes off each other. And those are the people that fucked it for everyone else. That's my...
It's so great. He's just nailing it, talking points. The cool thing is the dude's not transphobic in any way, shape, or form at all. I'd probably hang out with the dude. Like, I just think he's hilarious. And he's, I just love when people say it. Just say it. And that's really actually it. Like, stop trying to pull the wool over everybody's eyes that trans women are women and they could go and play with women in sports. And like, the South Park, if you haven't seen the South Park, it's old school. It's just genius. It just shows they're a big dude on there. I beat the women. It's just so dumb, but it's not transphobic. I just want to let this dude know it's not, you're not transphobic in any way, shape, or form. You came right out the gate and said it. I know that real trans people do not in any way, shape, they're just too scared to say it, which is actually really sad.
My opinion.
Now keeping transgender members out of the military, and lastly, he cut federal funding for the chemical and
I didn't realize that was a whole separate. I didn't realize that was a whole separate executive order keeping trans people out of the military. Well, the truth is, sad as it is, the suicide rate for trans people is astronomically high. You could blame a million reasons for it, but ultimately, you don't want people in the most stressful...
Actually, that I'm going to push back on that one right there because that narrative goes around. No, it is not high. Ideation, okay? taking yourself out ideation. I'm going to have to obviously blank that out, but I don't know how he's getting away with all these words and these things, right? I don't know. I'm going to actually maybe try to leave it in and see what happens. But that being said, no, it's ideation. It's not the actual act of unaliving yourself that's happening. The ideation, but many kinds of people have that kind of ideation, okay, unaliving themselves. So I won't say it's higher than the ideation might be higher, but but not the actual act of it.
Position in the world, literally being in the military. You don't want those people to have any possible extra reason for them to inflict self-harm. Someone in my chat just said, I'm a trans woman, I don't care for sports, and I understand biology. I'm telling you, I think 90% of trans people are against, trans men and women's sports, whatever.
Surgical mutilation of children. And that is what I want to...
Yeah, that's shocking that was ever allowed. That is one of those things that, again, shocking it was ever allowed. You have a child that can't consent to sex, can't consent to tattoos, can't consent to fucking anything.
Wow.
But they could say, I want my cock chopped off, and that'll happen. Like, that is insane. And my favorite thing, dude, this is literally my favorite thing ever. Every time this topic comes up in a debate, the leftist in the debate that's supposed to be arguing for pro-sex changes on children, the first thing that they say is, how often does that really happen? And the answer is it only happened like a few times in the entire United States.
No, it did not happen only a few times. It happened a lot of times, okay? So actually that's not true, but I'll let you just go on.
It doesn't matter, okay? You are putting into law that you can cut the dicks off children. Okay, what the fuck are you talking about?
Totally.
The correct answer should be 0. If it's any more than 0, then the country failed. And I hate that debate tactic because it's so slimy.
Yeah.
It's like, how often did it happen? It doesn't matter, retard.
Focus on today. And obviously, there was outrage over every single one of these 4 executive orders.
Yeah, I love outrage. I love outrage. Outrage is fun. Outrage is based. We take them. Angry people, they make me alive. God, I love angry people.
Unlikely as Congress stands right now that any of these will be passed as bills, even though I would love them to, considering that every single Democrat in Congress voted against passing a bill that would keep men out of women's sports just last week. And I want you to hear that again. Every single Democrat. And that issue specifically, as we discussed last week, is not even controversial. Studies have shown that 70% of Americans on a baseline believe that men, biological men, should not compete against women.
I think
it's why they keep trying to take biology out of the equation. As you know, I talk about it all the time. Biology is a social construct. This is real. When you put hormones in, you magically become a woman. That's not true. That is not. I am still a female. I've been on testosterone more than probably 90% of these people saying that stuff. I'm still female. Didn't change my DNA or my chromosomes. So that's why they try to twist the words around like that.
it's more than 70%. I just think that there's another 10% that are scared to say it because then they won't feel like an ally. That's my opinion.
Damn,
I really believe that. I think that there's so much like generalizing and social programming that makes you feel like you're an enemy to the people.
Yes.
You clearly don't care about other people's struggles and shit like that. And those guys are fucking retarded. I'm sorry. Stop being a pussy.
Funny.
Don't be a bitch. Say what you think. It doesn't matter.
Yes.
So someone on Twitter is going to be angry at you. Boo fucking who. Get a life.
So
and these
good.
people that are in Congress that are supposed to represent us, that are supposed to represent that 70%, overwhelmingly, every single one of them voted no. So I think that just kind of gives you an overview of where our government stands right now. And so what needs to change in order to push any of these bills through to make these into law so that they can't just be undone by another president 4 years from now? Well, in my opinion, people need to be hit in the face with the facts about these procedures and the lasting effects that they have on people, specifically on developing minds, specifically on American children.
So Brett Cooper goes on to talk about the statistics in the Oxford Journal. Remember, I think I read those on another one of mine. If you guys want that, I should just put a link to it in the description of this video, because it actually, she goes on to state how it's a high rate of anxiety, depression, wanting to have unaliving themselves after you get surgery. So and they did the study with over 107,000 participants. So, the studies show it doesn't work. It's very rare. People like me make it through because we do the work, and there is definitely people who need this medication. There's no doubt about it, but it is a long-term commitment, and you have to go through a huge system that they're not doing now, and they've just literally destroyed everything. So, this guy, it goes on for a long time, and I'll put a link to his video because he's really great. I actually really like his commentary, and he really just says it as it is. And I always love people who say it as it is. And what I'm trying to prove with his video is that they don't hate people. Don't hate transsexual or transsexual people. They don't. They hate dumbasses, and they hate people who lie, steal, and cheat. And when we come to the table, honestly, with who we are and biology and why we need to do this, and that it's a disorder, and that all of the things that you lay out so that people can have some compassion for us, people are willing to let us live our lives. But when you come to the table with these new trans activist nonsense, what he just said, he blew it out. He said exactly, these people are crazy. They're wingnuts. They're nuts. They're doing stuff to kids and men in prisons, and it's a misogynistic movement. So anyway, I just really thought it was a great video to react to because it really just says everything I'm saying, and I can show you that we're aligning. I'm aligning with the people who I'm here self-preservation on some level, because I want this medicine to be around for the next generation of adults who need it and the people who actually need it. So with that, I have like I found 3 or 4 different little TikToks to react to because they're just absurd, you guys. They're absurd. How are these people even functioning in life? So
I'm getting bottom surgery in 5 days, and when they do the surgery, they're going to put packing inside to make sure that everything stays open. And 5 days after the surgery, they're going to remove the packing. And I really want to play this specific song when they're removing the packing so that it'll be like this. It's like a clown, except it's my vagina.
That is the reason why. That's a trans activist. Okay, putting that insanity out on the internet. Nobody cares about your vagina and how you're going to get it packed full of some kind of stuff, and then they have to pull it out like a clown show. Like, you're literally making a clown show out of something that's supposed to be making you a better person. You're just proving it's a full-on clown show. And now you all are talking about how you're clownfishes. I mean, what? That dude in that video was so right on. You people are actually mentally insane. So let me bring up this next one.
Gay men.
Yeah, but we're fan presenting, so we were just shouting it. We were shouting that we were trans gay men because we are. Trans gay men!
What is it?
Let me understand something. You're a trans gay man fan presenting. Walk with me here. Now, a trans man is a woman that has transfigurated, transformed, metamorphosis, backwards, reverse, into a man. Alright? Cool. You said you're a trans gay man. We have that covered. Fan presenting. So you're presenting as a woman. So what you're telling me now is that you're a trans man, a woman that transfigurated into a man, only to then pretend to be a woman. This is a sickness.
Bam! This is a sickness. How can you think people aren't going to think it's a sickness? You're transitioning to be a gay femme trans man, whatever that is, and then but you transition from a woman to be a man, but to also look like a woman, but to be a gay man. None of it makes sense. That's actually totally sounds completely insane and ridiculous, and we're just feeding into it and letting these kids do this stuff and destroying everything that's helped me become a better person. So on some level I can laugh at it. On the other level, I'm just disgusted by the whole thing, and I feel so mad about it because, like, why is this happening? Did you even read what that said? It says bonding with my child who identifies as a squirrel. What? Come on. I know I pretty much think this is a joke, but the reason it's a joke is because people are actually doing that, letting their children identify as animals and cats and dogs and furries and all of these things. So, this is what this is coming from the trans community. Insulting. I have one last one for you all. You're gonna hate me. I just had to do it because I saw it and I'm just like, what? What? I took the music out because I'll be copyright. I know. This that's it. Says it all. That's the trans community for you. And it's going down, the downfall of the trans community. So with that, I mean, hopefully this stuff ends really soon because kids are getting hurt. And, that's not the funny part. But the other stuff, these people are nuts. And they're just latching on to something to be seen. And what the guy said, get Twitter likes and all the, just this total validation for whatever the heck. You've never had anything in your life. So now you can be trans and get tons of validation. So anyway, thank you all so much. I guess I'm going to leave you with it's going. I really do think it's going. More and more people are seeing it. And the great thing is that they're seeing more people like myself and all of us who really just want to get back to a normal space. And so I can't do it without you. Again, I'll keep telling you that. I keep telling you how much I value you guys so much and building this space. And the lives on Wednesday mean a lot to me. And I just really enjoy my time with all of you. So let's just keep pushing forward and hopefully we're going to get into a much better space. Okay. Have a great rest of your day and I'll talk to you guys later.